What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to ICNV Driversedition, and today we've got another hot topic coming your way. I know you've seen from the introduction, or should I say the thumbnail, so you get an idea, but what I'm actually doing today is, well, first off, I'm back in the Atlas. It's been a while since we've been behind the wheel of the Atlas, so I had to get out and move it around some and, you know, put some miles on it. But today's topic is not about the Atlas. I'm going to combine two conversations because I'm not that person really to just pick on one topic unless you want me to have a conversation about it. I really try not to make unnecessary videos and just cover what needs to be addressed. So the two topics I'm going to cover today is, why do you see so many Corvettes advertised for $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, or even $20,000 off MSRP on the internet? And can you actually buy a Corvette for 10, 15, 20 grand or less? I think they go hand in hand. So let's talk about it. If this is your first time to the channel, welcome for tuning in. My name is Sho. This is ICNV Driversedition. We are an interactive car community, which means if you reach out to me on any one of my social media platforms or hit me up in the comments below, I will do my best to respond. And if the topic you bring up is interesting enough, just like this one, I will shoot a video on it. So, diving into this today, I want to have a conversation about all the crazy pricing we're seeing on the actual C8 market. The one thing about the crazy pricing is, or I would say to anybody, is you can advertise anything. And advertisement is just that. It's a way to draw attention or get people into your dealership or to call about your product. Doesn't actually mean you can buy it. So I've been scrolling the internet because many of you have reached out in a previous video saying you can buy cars for 10, 15, 20 grand up under MSRP. I will never say that you're lying, but we have to be able to validate the information that you are giving us. The one thing that's funny about this is so many people reached out and said, I bought a car recently, or I just bought a car a week ago, and I paid 10 grand under MSRP. I paid 12,000 under MSRP. I paid 15,000 under MSRP. Congratulations. All I asked for most people that got me that information was, can you or do you mind sharing a copy of your purchase order, your bill of sale, showing the numbers? Don't need your information, don't need nothing on the car. I just wanted to see a copy of the bill of sale showing the numbers because I want to know how they got there. Because I can explain to you what's taking place, but the numbers that many people are saying, it's almost impossible to get there unless it's smoke and mirrors. I say smoke and mirrors because dealerships use so many different strategies to actually market a vehicle, and I'll just be honest with you, there are well over 30 I'm aware of and know personally how they work, but I can't get into all 30 strategies or tricks they use to sell a car and bring people in, so I'm only going to cover a few, but I want to make sure you understand and have that disclaimer as we proceed to this conversation. So here's the thing, I really don't like making these videos because the information changes so quickly, but I have gotten so many questions, responses, and people trying to, I guess, say, prove a point by saying you can get a new Corvette C8 with 10,000 or 20,000 miles off MSRP. And the problem with that is it's not all false information, but everybody isn't being truthful about their statements. They're saying it to make the car look bad or to make the video seem like it's not really detailed enough or actually providing the correct information today. So let's dive into this. The first thing I want to sit there and say to you is, no new car Chevrolet dealership will ever sell a brand new Corvette for a loss. That's not how business works. And I want you to understand that, because when people say they're getting these huge discounts, everybody's purchasing and buying situation is different. If you are trading a car in, dealers can move numbers to make things seem or appear like they aren't. For instance, if you're trading a car in and your car is worth $15,000, but they offer you $10,000 or $12,000 for the car, and you say, I'll take it, they have $3,000 to play with. So if they turn around and say, I'll give you an additional $2,000 off the car to make you buy the car, in essence, they didn't give you an extra $2,000 off the car. They stole equity from you and just made it appear with the numbers that you were getting an additional $2,000 off the car. So that's one thing I want people to understand. Two, the inventory for new car dealers is a funny situation, but it's not. Meaning that the cars still technically belong to General Motors, but the dealership is buying the cars from GM, and they buy the cars from GM at a certain dollar figure. And that's listed on the invoice. On the invoice is lots of information like the actual amount of profit that comes from the manufacturer. They have employee pricing. They have holdback and other type of listings for money. I'm not going to go into complete detail because there's something about the salesman in me that feels like everything shouldn't be disclosed, because selling cars is a way of living for most people, and they need to still be able to earn or make a living doing so at this point in time. But sharing this information with you is, if they give you everything that they can get paid on a car, they can get around $6 or $7 grand off a base C8 by giving up everything. To get $10,000 off a base C8, that's pushing it. To sell the car, on the invoice is the price I have to pay for the car as a dealer. Why would I buy a car for more money and sell it to you for less? That doesn't make sense. That's like an oxymoron. No new car dealer is going to buy a car for more money and sell it to you for less. Anytime they sell you a car discounted heavy, they have to give you something that they have control of, or they're giving you something that General Motors is offering them. And I had a video I made years back explaining how rebates work. If GM comes out with a rebate, and let's just use rough numbers, if GM comes out with a $3,500 rebate, chances are the car is already $4,000 to $4,500 in the hole, meaning that the value has lost $4,000 to $4,500 off the car. As a dealer, I can now sell you this car if I want to, as they say in the industry, drop my underwear on this deal. I can sell you the car for what I'm willing to pay for it from General Motors, and I can add an additional $3,500 off the car. So now, like I stated before, I can drop my underwear, and then I can give up somewhere around $6,000 in discounts without any help from General Motors. I can now add an additional $3,500 of rebates that General Motors is providing. So that's how they get to these numbers. Let's take a quick break, and do me a favor, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, help me reach my goal of 25 before 25, which is 2,500 subscribers before the year 2025. We're chasing the movement. Be part of it. Join the channel, especially if you like the content you've seen so far. We have more stuff like this coming your way, and you too can help guide the focus of the content that comes your way. So subscribe to the channel, hit that like button. The other thing, if I'm advertising, and this is where the problem comes in for most people, they don't understand how advertising works and the manipulation behind it. So the manipulation behind advertising is every dealer has a different strategy, but the ultimate goal is to get floor traffic. Even though you can buy cars today on the internet and never step foot into a dealership, the main goal is to get floor traffic. Most deals are made when you are sitting inside of a dealership face to face. Or I would say the best bargain deals are made when you are sitting in a dealership face to face. Regardless of how many people say they bought a car online and they got X amount of dollars off. What you have to understand is, as long as you are not in the dealership, what you are getting off or offered is typically what every other customer searching on the internet can get. Just because you got a good deal or offer doesn't mean it was the best deal that could have been made. You probably could have did even better if you would have physically went into the dealership and tried to negotiate in person. Now that I explained this part to you, let's cover another aspect of floor traffic or dealer games, or as I sit there and say, welcome to the world of Corvette sales. Corvette sales is different than many other vehicle sales. You see dealerships play more smoke and mirror games with Corvette sales than probably any other vehicle on the market. I explain this to you because Corvettes have always been a funny marketplace, especially with the owners that gravitate to the vehicle. So if you've really been keeping track with the Corvette throughout history, right? 2020 Corvettes started out at 60 grand. 2025s are starting at 68.3. There's an $8,000 swing. What a lot of dealers will do is they will advertise the increased pricing of a similarly equipped 2025 vehicle as the MSRP for the 2024. And what happens is, because they gave an additional $2,000 discount, people never pay attention to the actual MSRP for the 2024 car anyway, because the reason why they were calling in was the price tag. They may believe they are getting a $4,000 discount, but what they actually care about, like I tell everyone in my chats, is people care about the number they see at the top line. They don't really focus on the fact that it's only a $2,000 discount instead of the $4,000 that they saw on the internet. Another thing people don't understand is dealerships still, and I say this to this day, dealerships still do dealership pricing adjustments. So sometimes you will see on the internet, and I've seen this because I go into the dealerships in person and pay attention, they're dropping the car down to a price that's slightly under MSRP, and then sometimes heavily under MSRP, but it's still a discount that you can recognize that isn't what the car actually costs. And why does this work? Because if you're not physically inside the dealership and you're taking this to your credit union, the credit union will evaluate the car and say, yeah, this car is selling for under MSRP. You don't know how they're moving the numbers because you never saw the car in person. If you go to the dealership, they still going to show you, or they usually then would kind of go over how they're getting to the number, but they focus on what you're buying it for. So here's the C8Z06 stock number, because they always put a stock number. Stock number XYZ. You're getting this car for the $137,000 advertised price, minus this, and this. And they keep moving, never really sitting there saying this car was discounted $5,000, $7,000 like it was advertised. The other thing I want you to know when it comes to Corvette sales, they will pick one car they will heavily discount, which means drop their underwear on just one car, and that becomes the promotional car, stock number 1344. You can buy a new C8Z06 with $10,000 off, or you can buy a new C8 Corvette with $10,000 on an MSRP, or you can buy a new C8 Corvette for 15 grand under MSRP. And people are trying to figure out how they get to this number. And what it actually is they're not violating any laws. They just chose to choose one car to discount heavily. And how they're getting to this number based off the information I shared with you before is you never truly know, but some dealerships know. And what I mean by that is GM always gives, I guess, what you can sit there and say, bonuses to dealerships. So the same way you would work at your job and at the end of the year they come out and give a bonus, GM normally does that every year for their dealers. And what they do is, based on the amount of volume the dealership pushes out, They will go back and say for every new car sold from January 1st of 2024 to December 31st of 2024, sometimes they be specific on it has to be the 2024 model year. Sometimes it's just every new car. You never know how they're going to play the game. But what they usually do is they'll come out and say for every new car that was sold, we are going to give the dealership $200 or $300 or $500 for every new car they sold. So when you see a dealership doing that type of advertisement, typically what they are doing is they are taking back from this bonus money they're expecting to get to discount one car. They won't discount every car. And that is something that a lot of people can contest to, because they will say they called in, they asked, was the car still here? And the salesman instructor told you yes, to come on in. If you try to do a deal for the car online, they will not do the deal for the car online. They always say it has to be a physical purchase. And what ends up happening is someone will come in and buy this car. This car is typically one of the lowest level cars, the most stripped down version car they have on a lot. But they advertise it as you can buy a new C8 at this price. Pay attention to it, because if you understand how the game works, if they're advertising the discount, it's typically because you can't get it on every car. If they're advertising the price, it's typically to get you in. I know that just went over some people's head. So I'll say it like this. They will only discount one car. The car they discount to get to this number is always a specific stock number, and they've given every discount possibly they can give to this car. What happens is more people come in, and then you would get the story that says, well, technically it was just that car. We had some extra advertising money that we threw at this car. If you typically read the pricing details or the disclaimer, it's often listed inside the disclaimer that they're using extra funds that every car may not qualify for, or that every buyer may not qualify for, to get to this pricing. And it's usually because they're using money or rebates or things that everybody don't qualify for. Now, I know I've given you a lot of information in a short amount of time, and I hope it helps you understand you can buy cars heavily discounted, but every person won't get the same offer. A lot of people don't understand why one dealer will sell a car heavily discounted and another dealer won't. The top 3 or the top 5 are typically more likely to offer huge discounts on the cars because their volume of Corvette sales will exceed every other dealer in the country. So when you're selling 1,200 or 1,400 Corvettes a year, the average dealership may sell 10. So the dealership that's selling 10 Corvettes is not going to be as eager to give up money on a Corvette as Ciocca, McMokin, Les Stanfield, and so forth are. So you may get a car heavily discounted from one of these locations. That doesn't mean every Corvette in the country is being sold the same. And the reason why you would get this discount from these dealers is because they're counting on their volume to bring in extra money. Ciocca and McMokin sell more Corvettes alone than my dealership sold new cars a year. We typically sold 840 new cars by the year. That's what we sold for every new Chevy under the tag, the franchise tag. That's Tahoes, Malibus, Traverses. You get my point. Now, I'm just going to say this to you. All the research I've done and all the information I've looked up, I can only speak on the facts that we can get our hands on. And as of today, November 4th, there are no rebates actually available for any version of the Corvette C8. There are other rebates you can get through GM or Chevy, but there's none specifically on the actual Corvette today. Now, what I was able to find, and I've even mentioned this before in my previous video, that there were rebates for 2024 model year cars or model year Corvettes on limited or specific Corvettes that had up to $2,500 off the MSRP pricing. There were also rebates that I was able to come across, or promotions back that ended in September 30th, which is pretty much the big promotion you are still seeing advertised at Ciocca and MacMokin on their page, saying that you can get 10% off the MSRP of a Corvette C8. And technically it just says 10, well, yeah. And I will say this to you, just like I stated before, it's publicly displayed on the front page where it actually says that the expiration for this promotion is September 30th, 2024. But why are they still running it today? Like I said before, all of this is designed to get you in the door and to switch your focus to something else dealing with the purchasing price of a vehicle. So I can't tell you that someone didn't or did buy something for a particular price, but what I can sit there and tell you today is a lot of those options aren't there anymore. Just like there was a point where GM offered employee pricing, everybody gets employee pricing. Once that time went past, every other purchase of that same vehicle did not get employee pricing. So just because you were able to take advantage of an offer doesn't mean that's the standard for car sales or the standard for Corvette sales going forward. I hope this information was helpful and it kind of cleared up some of the confusion, or as I would say, mixed direction that goes on in the Corvette C8 market or in the Corvette market always. And I hope you also get a better understanding of how dealerships work. And I hate to say dealerships, I want to say how, like the Corvette, the Mustang, like typical American sports car markets work, because you really don't see this type of crazy hoopla with Porsche, Ferrari, Lamborghini, and so forth. Maybe BMW a little bit, but Mercedes, Lambo, you don't see this. This is typically the craziness that goes on in what is considered affordable sports car, high performance car marketplace, where there is a lot of competition or a lot of people trying to get their hands on a car, and they're trying to misdirect people into doing so. But at the end of the day, if you were able to take advantage of any one of these promotions, or you got a Corvette or you got a sports car at a discount that you deem was the best offer for you, congratulations, and I wish you happy ownership of the vehicle you purchased, and I hope you drive it to the fullest of your heart's content. But I got to get out of here. So ICNV Drivers Edition, go ahead, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, join the ICNV Drivers Edition community. We are an interactive community, like I stated before, which means if you hit me up in the comments below or on any one of my social media platforms, I will do my best to respond. And if the topic you bring up, just like this one, thanks Rodney, thanks James, thanks Daryl, thanks Craig, I will make a video on it. But remember, we were all designed in his image. We were given domain over the world, which means we weren't just meant to be. So chase your dreams, build your visions, never give up, and embrace your own identity. It is okay to be unique. He's not done with you. He's definitely not done with me. So stay safe, stay blessed, and I will see you in these streets. Peace.